Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Dashboard Fridays. I'm Adam from Squared Up. Today I'm joined by my colleague Tim. Hey Tim.
Hi Adam, how you doing?
Good, thank you very much. Tim is Head of Engineering Services here at Squared Up, and he has joined us today to talk about his Jira dashboard. So Tim, what's Jira? Why does anyone care about it?
That is a good question. And definitely some people care about it more than others. Jira is commonly used as a project management tool. We use it throughout Squared Up engineering to track our releases, track our milestones, our bugs that we have to work on, and obviously, most importantly, the exciting new features that we're building into the product.
Nice. I know Jira has a few components. There's Jira Service Desk now. There's a few sort of add-ons, and it's part of a wider suite along with Confluence from Atlassian. We use it obviously, like you said, very software focused project management. People use it for all sorts of things. I'm sure I orchestrated moving house once for the Jira project, which is a lot of fun. I could have done with a dashboard for it then. So I'll go ahead and bring your dashboard up now. Talk us through sort of what you've put on a dashboard and why.
Yeah, so I mean, as you said, this is actually Jira Cloud, so just focusing on the core Jira product itself. I've split this into two halves, and I guess it's the two halves that I care the most about. So on the left-hand side, you've got the next release. So these top bits are just pulled through with Web API tiles. Just looking at the next release and using the right mouse, then I'll actually be able to scroll. There we go. Looking at the status of our epics, so they're like our big ticket items that are in a release, the progress through. We've actually just finished release 5.3, but I kept this data held back just for you, Adam, so we have something pretty to look at. And at the bottom, the fixes as well that are going into that release. And then on the right-hand side, this is a slightly higher level project status, so the sort of top level within Jira is a project. And what I'm looking at is the backlog of work here. So again, these big ticket items not assigned to any particular release, but what we've got in our prioritized list. And then some trends for bugs over time and the total bug count. So you can see that here at Squared Up, we're ever so slightly edging upwards, but it's staying very, very stable. And then a breakdown of severity and priority, just to give a real sense of what's the weighting of all those bugs, because you can certainly get lost with all the bugs and tickets that anyone has ever raised. I'm sure most people are familiar with having more bugs than they know what to do with, and categorizing them and trying to understand them is quite tricky.
So obviously you're a Jira user, you're in Jira a lot of the time. Who's the sort of main audience for a dashboard like this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, I see this more of a toolbox of Jira tiles. So you wouldn't necessarily have this one dashboard, but because dashboarding in Jira itself is quite good if you're already in there, this is very useful to combine with any of the other tools that you're using. So if you wanted to combine it with Azure DevOps or Zendesk, it would work really well, because a lot of people care about the upcoming release, people that are invested in that release, whether that be product managers or testers or heads of engineering. Whereas on the right-hand side, that's got a much wider, broader application of kind of what's the status of where we are in this year as a whole, and what do we want to look at that's coming up. And you might combine that with, say, maybe some other product management tools, perhaps, or some other roadmaps that you might build.
Nice. When you were putting this together, I mean, we've had Web API tiles forever. Why is it only recently we've been able to get a Jira dashboard together? I guess a lot of it's PowerShell. How's it all put together?
Yeah, sure. So, as you say, Web API works really well with Jira, and as I said, Jira dashboarding itself is actually pretty good. But you do have to have a Jira license to see that dashboarding, unless you're happy to make all of your data public. So the open access feature is really nice to be able to share around to people who aren't in Jira day to day, probably don't want to be in Jira day to day. And then on top of that, you can only use Web API to pull back 100 results in a lot of cases, particularly for bugs. And as you can see from our bug count, just wouldn't be possible with Web API. You'd have to compromise, right? You'd have to take the highest priority or the oldest or the newest or something. So with PowerShell, it's very simple to create a loop and grab all that data and then spit it back out into a lovely trend line.
So maybe a feature request we'll see on this dashboard in the future would be paging for the Web API tile at some point, right? That would get around this.
That would certainly have saved me a couple of hours of working out how to make PowerShell work. Yes.
Yeah. Are any of the scripts just worth walking our viewers through? Anything of interest in them?
That is a good question. Let's put your face over the important cog button. So let me just open that up. Yeah, I mean, this is maybe just worth looking at to see how I'm just, setting my parameters at the top and pulling through these API requests into a loop. And then I'm doing some date conversions. But apart from that, it's very straightforward. PowerShell obviously has near limitless applications, but for what we're doing here, it's really just all about that loop and then converting the data into the format that we want to see out the end.
Mm-hmm. I won't ask you to show it off because I'd imagine it's full of credentials, but I saw lots of sort of parameters in there that aren't set here. So I guess you're using a PowerShell provider in the background to store usernames and passwords and things like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, again, provider's really handy to just take some of that detail out of the actual script.
Perfect. Are there any were there any specific bits that you sort of struggled with while you were building this? Is it Jira's query language particularly difficult to use through the API? Anything that's worth just sort of letting our viewers know about?
Yeah, actually, maybe I should just show one of the API tiles for people that maybe haven't played with that before. What is actually really nice is if you take this text, which is the query, and you put that back into the URL into Jira, it will reproduce that exact query so you can see all your data in Jira. So actually, the Web API stuff works really seamlessly. You can work both ways. You can construct your query in Jira and then move it straight into the tile so you can see both side by side, and vice versa. If you tweak it, you can put it back into Jira and then see that your data points are correct.
Nice. So you don't have to sort of rely on just blindly trying things in the Web API tile. You can actually just use Jira to return what you want to see and then just drop it straight in. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, exactly that.
You referred to this earlier, sort of like a toolbox. So I guess you would see people using this dashboard, not in its current form, taking the bits they want, maybe tweaking it around, and I guess it's all pretty flexible. Just update queries to pull back whatever you want, change timeframes. And does it use page timeframe? Actually, that's probably worth any part of it that's using page timeframe.
No, it doesn't. Maybe that's something for this Jira Dashboard 2.0.
Okay.
But as you say, these are very reusable. I mean, where I've grabbed next release, we're running that out of one particular project and the same as the backlog, but you could easily change those queries in both the Web API and the PowerShell scripts to combine multiple projects because you've got full access to what the JQL, as they call it, the query language, can do in Jira. So anything it can do, you can replicate here.
Perfect. And so cloning for project-specific dashboards as well as combining other projects into the same queries and making sort of much bigger overview dashboards for all your highest priority things across all your projects, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So if you had like five different products and they each had their own Jira project, you could roll that all up into one view, and that would be very useful for senior management, I imagine.
Awesome. Okay. I'll wrap us up unless there's anything else that you wanted to cover. All good?
No, I think that's it. Thanks.
Perfect. Well, firstly, thanks to our viewers for watching. This dashboard is available on the dashboard gallery, right, Tim?
That is right.
Yeah, perfect. So squareup.com/dashboard gallery. If you have any questions about it, head over to Community Answers. Feel free to ask there. If you're really stuck with it, feel free to ask our support team as well. I'm sure they can pass it straight on to Tim on your behalf. But yeah, otherwise, thank you again for watching, and we'll be back up with another episode at some point soon. So yeah, for now, thank you very much. Thanks to Tim.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Cheers.